Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Mosquito season is just around the corner, and they got a brand new treatment plan for your yard. Less spraying, easier on the good insects like bumblebees and butterflies, the happy little friendly insects that you don't want to kill, unlike mosquitoes. It's easier on them. And most importantly, it works. Call Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Ask them about their new mosquito treatments. Also talk to them about carpenter bees, about termites, all that stuff that's coming your way this spring. Southeast Termite and Pest Control. All right, back with Mark Pancratz. We're over at our little French bistro set over here on the nice little table. I'm going to show you folks at home some teams that Tennessee could play. If Tennessee's a 3 or a 4 seed, then you're going to play a 13 or a 14. So to be safe, I've thrown in also the teams that are kind of projected at 12s and 15s in case somebody's a little higher or lower than we expect. So let's take a look at this if we can. All right, the teams, if Tennessee's a 4 seed, you're probably going to look at one of these teams from the left. If Tennessee's a 3 seed, you're probably going to look at one of these teams from the right as your first round foe. Mark Pancratz, just knowing the game, knowing coaches, styles, that kind of thing. And I know I don't expect you to have an inside track on all these schools. Anything stand out to you about any of these schools? It's like, ooh, I don't want them, I would like them, et cetera.
College of Charleston has been a top 25 type team all year. I would not want to play them. Louisiana is a really tough defensive veteran ball club. I watched that Kent State-Toledo game last night. I mean, they got some bulldogs at the point guard position. You're going to get a lot of that at the mid-major level. You're going to get a lot of fourth-year, fifth-year, senior type guys, undersized interior post players that are diverse and can be a mismatch problem for us, and then really tough guards. And you see that in Toledo and Kent State. The other one, Furman, has some veteran all-conference players that are really good. One
that stands out to me, and this has nothing to do with the players, I don't like the idea of a Rick Pitino versus Rick Barnes matchup in a tournaments environment. Iona with Pitino, who's being rumored to possibly go to St. John's or Georgetown next. He'll be coaching till he's 105. But Iona on that list, I don't think you want any piece of Rick Pitino at this point. Let me ask you this, Mark. There are some of these brackets over the last few weeks, they change them day to day, but over the last couple of weeks, you've seen Tennessee in the same quad with Texas A&M, where you could play, and you can play an SEC team in the second round if you've only played them once during the regular season. There was one that had Tennessee and Texas A&M where they would meet in the second round. There was another regional that had Tennessee with both Kansas and Arizona in the regional down the road. If you're a coach, and you're Tennessee, you've played Texas A&M, Arizona, Kansas. Would you look at that and say, oh, good, we know these guys. We don't have to do tons of scouting. Or would you look at it and say, these guys know us. I'd rather play teams we don't know. Which is it from a coaching
I think
standpoint?
it depends. If you've got a coaching staff that runs a lot of different looks, especially offensively, I don't necessarily want to play them because it's hard to prepare for them on a short turnaround. If they do a lot of the same stuff consistently, I think it's an easier preparation on a short term, and you're able to talk more personnel. In those short turnarounds, you're mostly talking personnel. You're not talking different looks unless they do it a lot on the offensive end. Mm-hmm. You're going to discuss more of, hey, they drive it to their left, they like step back. I mean, it's more personnel based. So if they're easier offensive, I'd rather play them than if they throw a lot of different looks at you.
Last question, I'll let you get out of here because you've got games to coach. We've talked everybody knows that college basketball comes down to the tournament. It's what you do. There are people that are looking at this team and saying, it's a disappointment because you got so high that it dropped off. If you had started slow, if you just flipped the season, everyone would be happy right now because, man, you pulled it together. Is this just going to come down to the next weekend? If Tennessee gets past the first 2 games and makes it to the Sweet 16, is all well and cheery and rosy in Knoxville? Or do you still think, no, this was a bad taste in the mouth kind of year?
I think we all know that for a handful of our community, it'll never be all rosy and good. They'll never be satisfied.
That's just fandom anyway, yeah.
North Carolina, I go back to North Carolina returned 4 starters, and they're not going to make the NCAA tournament. So a lot of it, you got to remember the expectation or the perception that you keep it in. I do think for a large majority of us, because we did get so high and because this is such a likable team, and some of Coach Barnes' track record of not getting to that Sweet 16, I think if we don't get to the second weekend, the vast majority of people will be disappointed.
Yeah.
Including me. Like I think this team is good enough and has enough with the healthy Zakai. Let me put it.
That's the
with
trick.
The healthy Zakai, I think they're good enough to be in the Sweet 16.
I just wonder if they had Zakai Ziegler. I mean, they were struggling. They were 4-5 when he went down. They'd lost 5 of their previous 9 before he went down. I just wonder, even with him, if we'd be still sitting here today saying, yeah, but we know that Rick Barnes' history is this in tournaments. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. I thank you for a year's worth of coverage. I'll try and drag you back out here next week or beyond. So hopefully we're still talking Tennessee basketball.
Absolutely.
Mark, thank you very much. Good luck to your girls today.
Thank you.
When we come back, what am I going to do next week? Let's talk seeding. Let's actually get into the Jerry Palm prediction, the Joe Lunardi prediction, bracket matrix. What seed will Tennessee get and why? Is it the right seed? We'll discuss that coming back on the Sports Source.